أفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم اجعل الحق على قلوبنا وألسنتنا وارزقنا الإخلاص في كل قول وعمل. Continue inshallah Surah al-ʿAnfāl, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم verse 10 وما جعله الله إلا بشرى لكم وما جعله الله إلا بشرى ولتطمئن به قلوبكم وما النصر إلا من عند الله إن الله عزيز حكيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the previous verses, when we said that there were the Sahaba, or some of them, were not looking forward to the battle of Badr because they went out for the caravan. I talked about this a couple of days ago. They went out for the caravan, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, told them that they're going to miss the caravan, and what should they be doing? Some of them were still not liking this. This did not seep in. They did not go into their hearts. So they're like, okay, let's go out for the battle. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a simile between their reaction for how they did not like or they disputed regarding the division of the spoils of war to this situation, to let them know, in this situation, you also did not like to go out and meet the army, and your preference was to go for the caravan, yet the outcome of Allah's choice for you was better than what you wanted even for yourself. Similar to how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, division of the ruling for the division of the spoils of war is better for you, and the outcome is better for you than even what you would need for what you want for yourself. I said this is the lesson for all of us. The first part here, one of the biggest lessons of Surah al-ʿAnfāl is complete reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a part of this, to let them know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only did the choice that is best for them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not leave them and say, this is the choice, and you're going to go with it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the reasons, or give them some means for victory. Amongst these means is what Brother Shad talked about yesterday, that they were also, that first of all, they made dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded to their dua. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did the long dua, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded to the dua. And amongst the response to the dua was what? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to send for them angels to help them in this battle. And that's what was discussed yesterday. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse 10 says, وَمَا جَعَلَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بُشْرَى وَلِتَطْمَئِنَّ بِهِ قُلُوبُكُم. Says, remember, and Allah made this as a sign of victory and reassurance to your hearts. Meaning that sending of the angels, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it as a sign of victory and reassurance for your hearts. But victory comes only from Allah. Surely Allah is Almighty, all-wise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm going to send as a glad tiding for you. As a glad tiding to let you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending by you is going to make, that I'm going to send angels to help you in this battlefield. But we said the lesson is actually to have full and complete reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need any of these means to bring about victory. But sometimes us humans, we would like to see some kind of a sign. We would like to see some kind of means. Which is sometimes a sign of like we're not fully there yet in our tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His utmost mercy, He could have said just this is, I'm going to give you victory and this is it. This is the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's going to 100% happen. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala add to it to give them ease, to give the companions ease. That I'm going to send a good sign, I'm going to send the angels as a sign for you. But no, even though it's a glad tiding from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to ease, وَلِتَطْمَئِنَّ بِهِ قُلُوبُكُمْ. Allah wants to ease your hearts. Because you're going to facing an army that's at least 3 times your size. It's stronger, yes, by the human means, as we mentioned, by worldly means. It's an extremely tough battle, it's an extremely tough test. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not leave him. He said, I'm going to give you ease in your hearts. I'm going to send angels to support you. But no, something extremely important. وَمَا النَّصْرُ إِلَّا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Victory comes only from Allah. To make this extremely clear and explicit for all of us, it's not that the Muslims won because angels were there. Nope. Has nothing to do with it. Muslims won because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote for them victory. That's basically it. وَمَا النَّصْرُ إِلَّا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Victory is from nowhere else except from Allah. The hasr is like this. This is like, there's nothing but the victory from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So nobody also has any doubt in their minds that it might be that it came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and it came because of the angels. وَمَا النَّصْرُ إِلَّا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Victory is from nowhere else except from Allah and Allah alone subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ends, this verse says, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Aziz. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is almighty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in no need for anyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by himself sufficient to be the source of victory, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all wise. He puts you in this situation, there's a wisdom behind it, right? And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always in any of the tests that you and I know, pass by, also remember this. Allah is sufficient by himself. He is the one. I'm sorry, you have a question or? There's a car. No, you say there's a Honda car. Okay, please, if you have a car that is blocking my brother here, right here, he's saying that there's a Honda car that is blocking his way. He cannot open his door. It's very close to his car. If you have a Honda car that might be blocking his gray Honda Civic, please, 1791, please go and help your brother here because he is blocked. Okay, let's continue here. He said, they know that Allah is Aziz and Allah is Hakim. Allah is Almighty, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all wise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, He says, and all of these verses, and I said, I repeat it in the beginning of this, and I repeat it on Mondays. I want you to please, as we go through these verses, do not lose track of the theme. Because we go and we do this khatira, we do this thoughts about these ayat in chunks. But it's all connected. So I want you to, inshallah, follow on this. If يُغَشِّيكُمُ النُّعَاسِ, amongst the other signs and the other bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this situation for the believers, what? Is إِذْ يُغَشِّيكُمُ النُّعَاسَ أَمَنَةً مِّنْهُ وَيُنَزِّلُ عَلَيْكُم مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً لِيُطَهِّرَكُم بِهِ وَيُذْهِبَ عَنكُم رِجْزَ الشَّيْطَانِ وَلِيَرْبِطَ عَلَى قُلُوبِكُم وَيُثَبِّتَ بِهِ الْأَقْدَامِ. And amongst these other signs as well, to give them this serenity and to give them this strength to be able to face their enemy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells, remember, when He caused drowsiness to overcome you, giving you serenity, and He sent down rain from the sky to purify you, free you from Satan's whispers, and strengthen your hearts, and make your steps firm. So the first one we said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends angels. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirms that the angels are just a good, it's a good glad tidings for you. But know, for all of us, that victory is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And amongst his other signs to show His mercy and bounty upon the believers was that not only that He sent these, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends on them, on the battlefield, pre-war, before they face their enemy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِذْ يُغَشِّيكُمُ النُّعَاسِ. Yughashīkum is to kind of put a cover on you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends to them a covering, meaning that this is of sleep. The word nu'as is the word to mean sleep, but light sleep. It's not like deep sleep. And this is a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has overcome the whole army. And this is, by the way, a lot of the Mufassirin say this is a miracle in it of itself. When you are in a tough situation, you and I, any kind of tough situation, when you go to sleep, you're not sleeping well. You're turning around. If you're thinking something even on your mind, it doesn't have to be a tough situation, but it's something that is bothering you, and you're thinking about it. What happens is, He said, you go in bed left and right, and you can't sleep, or you cannot sleep well. Imagine the whole army. As the narration comes, one of the narrations, Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu says, I've seen during that time, he went to sleep after that, but he said that during that time that the whole army was sleeping with the exception of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sitting, making dua, and that was it. But the whole army was sleeping? Yes. A miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That tells you what? When you are worried, you're not going to sleep. Even maybe ones and twos are sleeping. But the whole army sleeps. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes. Out of His mercy. Telling what? I'm taking care of you. Like what? How I'm going to take care of you in the al-ʾAnfāl. Same exact thing. You rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of you. To the extent that you'll be on the battlefield and all shaky, and your heart, and I'm going to put the sleep on you, so everyone calms down. Everyone feels refreshed. Everyone is going to now face the battle in a completely different energy. It's another ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not stop there. He said this nu'as is in form of like tranquility for you and a current of serenity for you. And then on top of this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends upon the Muslims, but upon the area, وَيُنَزِّلُ عَلَيْكُم مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً. He sends rain down. And it says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends this rain for multiple purposes. One, لِيُطَهِّرَكُم بِهِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to cleanse you, purify you using this water. In some of the narrations, they say, subhanAllah, that when they went to sleep, a lot of the companions in the army, had what dreams to the extent that they are in janaba. They are in janaba. They had to clean themselves. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends upon them water, sources of purity directly from the sky. So that they clean themselves, they clean their clothes, but also to get out of any state of janaba, but also to purify yourself for prayer. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends this water upon them. And وَيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمْ رِجْزَ الشَّيْطَانِ. The rijj of the shaitan, we said, is the whispers of the shaitan. When they were in this state, as a matter of fact, also the narrations gave multiple things. They said they were going on their way to where the battlefield is going to be. So you remember, they went out somewhere else to intercept the caravan. Quraysh is coming from Mecca. Now they're going to meet at this place, which is Badr. It's around, by the way, it's still around like a couple of hours away from Medina right now if you're driving. So it's not very close to Medina, or an hour at least from Medina. So they're going to somewhere else outside Medina where they're going to be meeting. On their way there, they are walking, the Muslimin are walking on sand that is like very soft sand. So their feet, they didn't have much of animals, by the way. They said, some narrations say had one horse for the battle, or maybe two. So when they are going there, the sand is very soft. Their feet is like kind of digging into the sand, and it become much stronger, like harder for them. They become much more tired because of this. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends rain, what happens? It holds the ground. So when you have wet sand, in that case, it becomes stronger. You see, subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala putting the whole universe around them to support them. From the unseen, we send malaika. From the seen, we send water. From the seen world, meaning, we send water. And the water is for you to cleanse yourself, to feed yourself, to drink to it, and to stabilize the ground under. The whole system that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one in control of, is going to help you and support you. Shouldn't you have reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's the message for you and I. Okay? وَلِيُطَهِّرَكُمْ بِهِ وَيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمْ رِجْزَ الشَّيْطَانِ وَلِيَرْبِطَ عَلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ وَيُثَبِّتَ بِهِ الْأَقْدَامِ. It says, and to strengthen your hearts. When you see all of these signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you see all of this help and support from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your heart becomes stronger, meaning that you have more courage, you have more serenity, you have more tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes your steps firm, your feet firm. Making your feet firm is an expression, by the way. But in this situation, it's actually the literal meaning and the expression meaning. The literal meaning is, we said, as you're walking upon these soft sands, now that they have water, it becomes stronger, so you can actually walk easily on it, or easier on it. Okay? So that's tathbit al-aqdam, to make your feet firm on the ground, so it doesn't go deep into the sand. But also it's an expression. Tathbit al-aqdam, you see it in everywhere else. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hold your feet firm, means what? To give you the strength, so you're not shaky. Not literally, but in this meaning, it said both of them are there. In this particular verse, both of these meanings are there. And these are all but just signs and bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the companions to learn the lesson of full reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I said, it's for all of us afterwards. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have taught them the lesson and not told us about it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in a surah. They say, this is exactly what I've done with your forefathers, with the believers before you. When they had this full belief, what do you and I do in terms of our reliance on Allah? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who have full and total reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fill our hearts with the reliance on Him, knowing that He subhanahu wa ta'ala is in charge of everything. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us serenity, to give us this full belief in Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to deliver us from one victory to another. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us thabat al-aqdam, to hold our feet firm in terms of tribulations and in tests in this world, so that when we meet Him, that He is pleased with us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He would gather us in a beautiful gathering with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions in the highest level of Jannah. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.